Welcome to the Jaybefaunt channel. I am your host, Jaybefaunt Leroy. So good to see all of you here on this beautiful Saturday in the park afternoon. Today is December 2nd, 2023. As you all are here today, yes, I am doing a special stream. So good to see all of you here. Come on in, sit on down. This is going to be a special one. We're going to be having a conversation because this is very important, and I just really want to get into this. So good to see all of you here. The Jaybefaunt channel is available on all major podcast platforms, so go ahead and subscribe there. Also part of the Revolutionary Blackout Network, so you can find me there on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and you can see me on my regular streams on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, if you have not already, you guys can also subscribe to my Substack. You guys go to jaybefaunt.substack.com so you guys are aware whenever I do upload any clips or have any live streams, or if I write any articles, so you guys can go ahead there. If you guys have not, you guys can like, share, and subscribe for some Jaybefaunt deliciousness. If you guys want some more of me, you got me. So there you guys go ahead there. And just to let you guys know, I also have a bonfire. So if you guys would like to go and get some merch from my store, you guys can also do that as well. Just as an aside, just to say hello to everybody who's also joining. Good to see everybody in the chat, watching from YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Rockfin, and Rumble. So good to see all of you here today. First of all, we have Dwayne coming in saying hi. Good to see you, Dwayne. Good to have you as well. We have Javier saying good afternoon, Javier. Good to see you as well. Sarina coming in saying greetings, comrades. Can't stick around live, but solidarity and Palestine and oh yeah, free Palestine and Congo. Yes, good going. Thank you so very much. We have Amanda coming in saying it was so bad I saw it on Sabby Sabs. It was so effing awful. Thank you for covering it. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also, we have ACAB includes ICE and Border Patrol saying hello to everyone. Good to see you as well. We have Jen McMahon coming in saying afternoon, everyone, and everywhere. Good to see you everywhere. All right. We have Java the Cat saying hi, JB and comrades. Good to see you, Java. All right. Sula Moon coming in saying hello, comrades. Good to see you, Sula Moon. All right. And hello to everybody that's also watching on the Rockfin side and the Rumble side and the YouTube side and the Twitch side. All right. Good to see all of you here today. Now, what are we talking about? I got some things to say. Let's get into this. Who is that? Who is that woman? That is Julianna Margulies. And I said, I can't believe she just said that. Why do I look like that? Baby, you got to talk. Oh boy, where do I start? Julianna Margulies has some things to say regarding people who support the Palestinians in their struggle for liberation. It's no secret that I support the Palestinians in their liberation. Now, does this mean that I am against hate or are against Jews in any shape or form? No. This means that I am against Zionism and the illegal occupation of the land that Palestinians reside on and have resided on for generations that Israel has stolen. I am just as much in solidarity with the Palestinians as I am with the indigenous groups that reside for generations on Turtle Island, aka America, aka where the United States currently is. Just like I stand in solidarity with Jewish people who have gone through the atrocities that they have gone through in the past, I also, in equality, stand with the Palestinians that are going through genocide, whether in Gaza or in the West Bank and throughout the whole of Palestine. I stand with them too. Just like many Jewish people as well stand with the Palestinians. So that I'm covering that already. Because I don't want people coming in going, oh my God, you're anti-Semitic. No, I'm pro-Semitic. Pro-Semitic. I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm pro-Semitic because I stand with my Palestinian brothers, sisters, and siblings, just like I stand with Jewish brothers, sisters, and siblings. And I stand with all my Arab brothers, sisters, and siblings. So therefore, I am pro-Semitic because anybody that speaks a Semitic language, like Arabic, Aramaic, Hebrew, and I forgot the other one, but those people, anyone who's going through oppression, I stand with. And right now, those are the Palestinians. Also, the Yemenis. Also, the people who are in places like Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon. I stand with them too. Just like I stand with my brothers and sisters and siblings in places like Uganda, South Africa, Burkina Faso, Mali, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Niger, Libya. I stand with them all. I stand with my brothers, sisters, and siblings in places like Indonesia. I stand with my brothers and sisters and siblings in China, Vietnam, DPRK, Venezuela, Argentina, Bolivia. I stand with people who are part of the Blackfoot Nation, the Sioux, the Ocoee, the Seminoles. I stand with them. Hell, I stand with the people who are residing in places who are suffering. I stand with the Black Ukrainians who are discriminated against. So I'm saying all that to say that I stand with people, right, who are oppressed, whether they be LGBTQ, cis, trans, whether they are disabled or able. If you're oppressed, I stand with you. Now, with that all being said, I don't think Julianna Margulies stands with oppressed people. Because if that were the case, she would not put it in such a way where it had to be transactional. Because right is right and wrong is wrong. I'm going to repeat that throughout the stream. Now, let me share with you guys what she said. Because I honestly think it's deplorable. I think it's deplorable because if you're going to sit here and stand with people, you stand with them and try to get what they are trying to say when they're standing with people who are marginalized. So, let me share my screen really quick. All right, so here's what she had to say. I want you guys to listen closely. I'm going to play it first, and then we're going to break this down.
Movement. The Jews were the ones that walked side by side with the blacks to fight for their rights because they know. And now the black community isn't embracing us and saying we stand with you the way you stood with us. Jews died for their cause. Where's the history lesson in that? Who's teaching these kids? Because the fact that the entire black community isn't standing with us, to me, says either they just don't know, or they've been brainwashed to hate Jews. But when you've been marginalized so much as a community, the way I feel we have, isn't that when you step up? So that
Well, I think I think you're right. I think the brainwashing is that there's this narrative that's been created that Jews are the oppressor, Jews are genocidal.
When have we ever oppressed? Ever? You can use the argument for Israel. The UN. I mean, here's what kills me is that these kids are calling Jews colonialists. If you're going to go with that argument, kids, then get the fuck out of America.
Right.
Because you were not here first.
Right.
Native Americans were here, and you owe them a big fucking apology and move the fuck out.
Yeah, we're the biggest occupier of all.
So that's what she had to say. As I was writing my notes for this, I had to stop and start and stop and start and stop and start. It's exhausting. Because she really put her foot in her mouth. I mean, she put her foot all in her mouth. I mean, she's spitting out she's spitting out toenails. That's how far up her mouth. She stuck her foot so far up her mouth, she kicked herself in the ass. That's how far she stuck her foot up her mouth. Now, let's break this down, shall we? So, get my notes ready because I got some things. All right.
Movement. The Jews were the ones that walked side by side with the blacks to fight for their rights.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, that's the where I'm first starting. With the blacks. Only 9 seconds in. 9 seconds in, and we already know where she's going. Black people in the chat, y'all already know when somebody goes the blacks. You already know what that is. You know what that means? Like, don't pretend like this is some, the liberals who absolutely care about us. No. That's not who this works. That's not how this works, baby. We know where she's going. Now, only 9 seconds in. God damn. Thor, Odin, and gosh. People give me strength. Oh my God.
Because they know. And now the black community isn't embracing us and saying we stand with you the way you stood with us.
First of all, many of us have embraced you. And we have for a long time. Look, we also do not equate Israel with Jews and Zionism with Judaism. Our rejection of Zionism does not mean rejection of Jewish people. Also, I didn't know that standing up for what was right was transactional. I thought you had to stand up for what's right regardless. Now, I asked my friend and comrade Sabiha if I could quote what she said in regards to this. So I'm going to read exactly word for word what she said because I think this is very poignant. She said, and this is fundamentally identity politics, right? Quote, I'm a Jew and I'm on your side. I'm on your side for your black issues. So in return, you as a black person have to always be on my side as a Jewish person, end quote. This is transactional. It's also capitalistic. What happened to standing for justice regardless of identity? Bars. Because just because you stood with me in doing what was right, now I have to treat this like a transaction. No, doing what's right should happen regardless. It's always the right time to do what is right. Right is right and wrong is wrong. I'm not going to stand. Look, we are not going to be the yes men of a group that was once marginalized. If you're marginalized, we're going to stand with you. But if you do something wrong, then we're going to call you out on it, and we're going to stand with the oppressed. That's how it goes. I'm going to be honest with you. At the end of the day, Julianna Margulies is a white woman. And you can say, but she's Jewish. Jewish people largely are white. They just are. Back in the day, they used to be differentiated, but now that ish has changed. Just like people who are Irish and people who are Italian were once not thought of as white, now they are. Same thing with Jewish people. They're largely white. Of course, there are some people who are of color that are Jewish. I don't want to erase them. But that's why I say most. So, I didn't even know she was Jewish when I first saw her. Until she said we, I was like, oh, I didn't know she was Jewish. I just thought white woman. So it's the same thing. Police pull her over, she is not going to get harassed. Versus people like my sister, Sabby Sabs, and she got pulled over. Well, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Cam. He said, she's white at the end of the day. Whether she's Jewish or not, she's white, and many white people can't help but to be this way. White liberals, man. Unfortunately, that's how a lot of them think. Like I said before, scratch a liberal, a fascist bleeds. Let's continue. So, breaking this down.
Jews died for their cause. Where's the history lesson in that? Who's teaching these kids? Because the fact that the entire Black community...
Hold up. Who's teaching these kids? I got an answer for you. Who's teaching them? The oppressed. The people who are suffering. Not the people who are doing funny TikToks and mocking the ones who are suffering, but the actual people who are digging up their loved ones out of the rubble, who are holding their children's remains in plastic bags because they were blown to pieces. That's who's teaching us. See, here's the thing that a lot of people realize. The old saying goes, history is written by the victors. If we were 50, 60 years ago, then we could demonize the Palestinians and say, oh my God, they did all these horrible things because they could not write the history because they're not the victors. But now with social media places like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, those of us who are oppressed, can write our stories and show, yes, we're oppressed. And it's in the public record. And now those who are oppressing us can no longer write the history books. They can no longer say, oh, well, we were the ones who were oppressed. No. We're now being able to write our own stories. And now you're pissed. You're pissed that you can't write the narrative. You're pissed because the narrative is now out of your hands. And now the people who are actually being oppressed, the people who are actually suffering, are the ones who are writing the narrative. You're pissed about it. Cry harder, Julianna. Cry harder. Because the thing is that people who are literally, there are thousands thousands of children that have been massacred. And now you're crying with your tears, your crocodile tears, because they don't like Zionism, because we don't like colonialism, and we see it with our own two eyes, and you're somehow upset over it. And you mistakenly keep equating Zionism with Judaism, when Jewish scholars, rabbis, journalists, and just Jews who I've met off the street said Zionism and Judaism are not the same thing. Israel does not equate Jews. They have been saying this time and time again. There are many of them who have said that they did not agree with even having a state. And if you are going to have a state, fine, but don't take other people's land. Don't take people's stuff. If you want to live among them, fine. If you want to live in the Holy Land, fine. Buy the land off of them if you want. If they want to sell, cool. And you guys have been living next to each other, beside each other, side by side for generations. That was never the problem. The problem is actually theft. You can come in my house. You can sleep on my couch, but don't take my shit. What is so wrong with that? That's the problem. That's what people are talking about, Julianna. Let me calm down. Even though I do have low blood pressure, so my blood pressure actually needs to go up. But anywho, let's continue.
Community isn't standing with us. To me, says either they just don't know, or they've been brainwashed to hate Jews. But when you
brainwashed, oh boy, we're brainwashed. That she says. Does that mean we're stupid? That we don't know what we're? Does that mean that we're incapable of actually doing our research? Are we incapable of actually thinking for ourselves? It's funny because every single time Black people go into a direction that some people, whether they're conservative or liberal, don't like, oh, we're brainwashed. We don't know what the hell we want. They'll see people in Burkina Faso, Mali, or Niger waving the Russian flag and praising Vladimir Putin. Oh, they were brainwashed. They don't know what they actually want. They're too stupid. The moment we embrace something like socialism or communism, oh my God, they're brainwashed. They don't know what they want. They're stupid. When it comes to Palestine, was Malcolm X brainwashed to you? Was Angela Davis brainwashed? How about Huey Newton? Was he brainwashed too? What about James Baldwin? Was he brainwashed? Former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela, was he brainwashed when he stood with Yasser Arafat? Was he? Is that your opinion, Miss Julianna? Those of us who support Palestinians do not think that Jews are the oppressor or genocidal. We see the Jewish voices that speak out against the genocide and apartheid. We see the rabbis that are speaking out against illegal occupation. I talked about this before. I got a clip. talking about Jewish voices that are speaking out against the illegal occupation. It's in my videos. Go back and watch that. There are Jewish voices for peace that are speaking out and demanding a ceasefire. They were there taking up the space in places like Grand Central Station in New York. They took over Ellis Island and they took over the Statue of Liberty to demand a ceasefire. Jewish voices. You have people like Medea Benjamin, Eleanor Goldfield, Katie Halper, Lee Camp, Chuck Modiano, Noah Krejcivik, Norm Finkelstein, Miko Palel, Aaron Mate, and Max Blumenthal, who are all Jewish, that have spoken out against the apartheid and illegal occupation. We stand with people like them. This has nothing to do with Jews and everything to do with oppression. Wrong is wrong, no matter who does it. If I, as an African person that has been brought here, his ancestors has been brought here to America, do I somehow have this claim to land that other people in Nigeria that have been living on, do I suddenly have the means to be able to steal their land? Are you going to be okay with me taking their land and them fighting back against me? Because I'm literally a third Nigerian. I can lay claim to that land and say, well, God told me I have this land. This is the land of my ancestors. And if I kick somebody out of their home, off their land, does that make it justified for me to do that? No, because then I would be oppressing people. And yet I'm black and gay and disabled. But wrong is wrong.
You've been marginalized so much as a community. The way I feel we have, isn't that when you step up? So that,
Well, I think the
because
brain. I
how
think
it-
you're right. I think the brainwashing is that there's this narrative that's been created that Jews are the oppressor, Jews are genocidal.
When have we ever oppressed? Ever?
Israel is oppressing Palestine. Remember I said Israel and Jewish are not the same. Because if that were the case, then every single Jewish person I meet would claim Israel. They don't. Israel does not speak for all Jews. Many Jewish people have told me that. They have stated that to me. Zionists are oppressing Palestinians and Lebanese and Syrians.
You can use the argument for Israel. The UN. I mean, here's what.
I love how she stopped when she said the UN, but then she stopped because the UN actually calls what Israel's doing, crime, war crimes. So she couldn't go there.
Kills me is that these kids are calling Jews colonialists.
We're not calling Jews colonialists, we're calling Israel colonialists. See how she conflates the two?
You're gonna go with that argument, kids, then get the fuck out of America.
Right.
Because
don't you love it when white supremacists say that? If you don't like it here, then get out of America. Don't you love it when white supremacists say that? Don't you love it when people who really put their thoughts out and they don't stand with marginalized people? You like when they say things like that? Or if you don't like it here, then leave. I would be okay. I would be okay if every single indigenous person on this turtle island, all the indigenous ones, from the ones from indigenous tribes here in the north of Mexico to all the indigenous ones in Mexico, in Honduras, Guatemala, in Chile, Venezuela, Brazil. I would love if they all said, well, if you don't like it, get out. Because they literally have the claim to say that. But it's always European Americans that always are the first ones to say, if you don't like it, then leave. Go back to Germany, go back to Poland, go back to Ukraine, go back to Italy, go back to Norway, go back to Britain. Go back. If you don't like it, what? I mean, you know? And then they're saying it to people like me. Wait a minute. Hold up. She said that if we disagree with colonialism, then get the fuck out of America. Did she just make it sound like that we came here on our own volition? Like we just boarded a cruise ship and decided to take the natives' land? Who's going to tell her? My God. My God. How do those toenails taste, Julianna? Stick your foot in your mouth in anymore? Maybe if you put some ketchup on it, the toes will taste better. Let's finish this up. But I'm not done.
Because you were not here first.
Right.
Native Americans were here, and you owe them a big fucking apology and move the fuck out.
Yeah, we're the biggest.
Wait. Who owes them apology? Wait, who owes them an apology? Last time I checked, when I look back to my 5th grade grandfather, he didn't have a choice. If he tried, he got beat, he got killed, he got struck with the whip for trying to leave. So who was it that actually had a choice? Julianna? I got more. But please go ahead and like the stream. I'm not done yet. I got some things to say. I got some more stuff. I don't know whoever this guy she's talking to is, but he's also just as vapid. Anyway, now we're going to get to the last part. All right. Let me share the screen. And then I have some updates. Jeez Louise, this lady. Let's continue.
Great the use of.
By the way, I'm going to play this in entirety first, and then we'll break this down. So.
Great the use of pronouns.
It's those kids who are spewing this anti-Semitic hate that have no idea if they stepped foot in an Islamic country. These people who want us to call them they, them, or whatever they want us to call them, which I have respectfully really made a point of doing. Like, be whoever you want to be. Mm-hmm. It's those people that will be the first people beheaded and their heads played with a soccer ball, like a soccer ball on the field. You know, there was a film being shown by this Black lesbian club on Columbia campus, and they put signs up that said "No Jews allowed." And as someone who plays a lesbian journalist on the morning show, I'm more offended by it as a lesbian than I am as a Jew, to be honest with you, because I want to say to them, you fucking idiots. You don't exist. Like, you're even lower than the Jews. A, you're Black, and B, you're gay. And you're turning your back against the people who support you?
Look, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I had to literally sit through that before going on stream just to examine all this and write my notes down. If y'all want to send me something PayPal just for enduring that, please go ahead. It's linked in the description. Because that was torture. Oh, all right. Let's get through it. Let's break it down. All right.
Rate the use of pronouns.
It's those kids who are spewing this anti-Semitic hate.
By the way, number one, speaking out against Zionism is not anti-Semitic. Anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. Also, many Jewish people, including rabbis, have also told us that. They taught us that. So it's not the same. Zionism is a political ideology. Judaism is a religion. Not the same. Also, most Zionists are Christian. So when I talk about Zionists, I'm also talking about Joe Biden. I'm also talking about Donald Trump. I'm also talking about Nancy Pelosi. I'm also talking about Hakeem Jeffries. I'm talking about Richie Torres. I'm not just talking. Do you know that Zionism does not equal Judaism? Baby, they taught me that. You should know better. Now, let's continue. So this note says, Julianna Margulies, let me enlarge this so you guys can see because it's kind of small. It says, Julianna Margulies, known for The Good Wife and The Morning Show, degrading pronouns, lesbians, the LGBTQ plus community, and Black lesbians during this podcast. Good God Almighty. All right, let's continue.
This anti-Semitic hate that have no idea if they stepped foot in an Islamic country.
Here comes the generalization. Incoming 3, 2, 1.
People who want us to call them they, them, or whatever they want us to call them, which I have respectfully really made a point of doing. Like, be whoever you want to be. It's those people that will be the first people beheaded and their heads played with a soccer ball, like a soccer ball on the field.
All right. So everybody who's been in my mentions on Twitter that have been saying, well, you're gay, they would behead you or throw you off a building just for being gay in Palestine. Here's the thing. People keep saying that I would be beheaded in Palestine. Matthew Shepard would like a word. All of the LGBTQ people who are murdered each year, and none of y'all say a goddamn word. But when we express solidarity with people who are oppressed like us, then that's when it's a problem. When are you guys ever going to talk about the LGBTQ people that are murdered and harmed and maimed in this country? It's always, oh my God, you guys would be murdered in Palestine. Whereas it's literally happening in this country, and it has been happening in this country for years. Let me share something with y'all. This is going to be from, and I'll continue in a second, but this is going to be from the ACLU. Title of this: Black trans women are being murdered in the streets. Now the Trump administration wants to turn us away from shelters and healthcare. This is the United States. It says it's been a horrific week for transgender and non-binary people. Malaysia Booker, Claire Legato, and Michelle Simone are Black trans women who have been murdered in the past week. At least 5 Black trans women have been killed so far in 2019. On Wednesday, the Department of Housing and Urban Development wants to federally fund shelters and a license to discriminate and turn away transgender people. This was the Department of Housing and Urban Development wants to give federally funded shelters the license to discriminate and turn away transgender people. Meaning that this is literally the government saying that we don't want trans people in our shelters. The government. And you can say, oh, well, that's just Trump. He doesn't like trans people. There are a lot of Democrats don't like us either. They don't like trans people or gay people either. Mind you, back then, just a few years ago, Joe Biden didn't even agree with gay marriage. He spoke so when he was doing the debate between him and Sarah Palin. Let's continue. The policy move is seen by many transgender and non-binary people as an act of violence on our community and our lives, which is true. Then Friday, Department of Health and Human Services announced its plan to take away protections for trans people from discrimination in healthcare. Like many Black trans women, I struggle to find employment and experience homelessness. So identity is also equal to class. Yes, it's true. LGBTQ issues is also a class issue. Let's continue. Like many Black trans women, I struggled to find employment and experience homelessness. I supported myself and my family by doing sex work. I was once assaulted and robbed by a client, even in New York City, outside of the Stonewall Inn. I have been attacked and hospitalized. For many trans and non-binary people, particularly Black trans women, our homes are not safe. Our schools are not safe. Our workplaces are not safe. We are ridiculed by healthcare providers and denied basic and necessary healthcare. When we don't feel safe to get life-saving medical care, and when shelters that receive taxpayer dollars are allowed to turn me away and my community away, there is no place to go but the streets, where we face violence and murder. And too often, just like I experienced, law enforcement fails to respond. I'm going to tell you once and I'm going to tell you again. If you sit here and try to blame all Palestinians for some people in Palestine that are anti-LGBTQ. Well, I got some news to tell you. Guess what happens in the United States? But I don't see you saying shit about us here. And you guys will put out tweets talking about on the day Matthew Shepard died. Oh my God, we stand in solidarity with LGBTQ. Every single June, oh my God, it's Pride Month, a stand with LGBTQ people. You guys will do that. But it's this. You're moving your mouth, not your legs, not your hands. I'd rather you keep your mouth shut and move your legs and your hands and do shit for us rather than just say shit. But that's what you're about. You're about the talking game. Like they used to say back in the late 90s, you're not about it, right? I took you back, didn't I? You were never about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. Right? But you never were. Now, guess what, chicken butt? It wasn't just during the Trump years, right? Let me share this with y'all. This was in 2022, Biden years. Report says at least 32 transgender people were killed in the U.S. in 2022. At least 32 trans and non-gender conforming people have been killed in the United States in 2022. The Human Rights Campaign announced Wednesday in its annual report ahead of Transgender Day of Remembrance. Transgender people of color account for 81% of known victims this year, and 59% were Black. Trans women are disproportionately represented, as they have been in recent years past, also comprising 81% of the deaths recorded at the time of the publication. The Human Rights Campaign has documented at least 302 violent deaths of transgender and gender nonconforming people since LGBTQ advocacy organization began tracking such fatalities in 2013, the same year the FBI began tracking hate crimes against transgender people. The victims have been overwhelmingly Black, under 35, and killed with a firearm. Black transgender women, such as Charmaine Giselle Marie, a 27-year-old nursing assistant killed in June in Gulfport, Mississippi, comprised 63% of all recorded victims since 2013. So, you guys are sitting here talking about how a lot of us, by the way, there's a lot of anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ bills that are being passed in many different states. And somehow you're going to point to Palestinians, but are you pointing at home? Now, let's continue with Julianna had to say. Go back just a little.
On the field. There was a film being shown by this Black.
Hang on. And by the way, stop using queer liberation to advocate for genocide, please. That's not right. If you think that just because some Palestinians are anti-LGBTQ, then that justifies them being stuck in a concentration camp, subject to apartheid, and bombed while their food, water, electricity, and fuel are being taken away, then you don't know shit about liberation. You're condemning an entire population based on the actions of a few. If you're okay with that, then you agree with Osama bin Laden when he destroyed the Twin Towers on 9/11. because he destroyed the Twin Towers based on the actions of a few in Washington, D.C. and in the Pentagon. You will probably relish in the fact that Florida or Texas got bombed because who runs the state? Remember when Texas went through a freeze and their power went out? Remember when liberals gloated about it and said, well, you should have thought about it before you voted for Republicans? This shows who they are. That's what you sound like. Collective punishments for the actions of a few. Also, generalizing all Palestinians as if they're a monolith. Just tell me how much you hate Palestinians. Just tell me how much you hate Arabs. And Black people, take note of whenever they say things like this, because question what they say about you behind closed doors. If you're willing to generalize them, you're willing to generalize all of us. I'm going to share something with you guys in a second, but let me finish this.
Lesbian club on Columbia campus, and they put signs up that said no Jews allowed.
First of all, that's not true, because if you guys see right here in the center, the person who posted it said, from the New York Post, says Columbia University lesbian group disinvites Zionist from movie night. So remember, Zionism does not equal Judaism. That being the case, then they weren't saying anything about Jews. See, Jewish people can come. Zionists can't. And there are many anti-Zionist Jewish people who are probably there having the time of their life, who don't agree with illegal occupation and apartheid. That's what it was. So, she lied. Let's continue.
And as someone who plays a lesbian journalist on the morning show, I'm more offended by it as a lesbian than I am as a Jew, to be honest with you.
Did she just say, I'm not a lesbian in real life, but I play one on TV? Did she just say? I wish this was liquor. I wish. I need it, because I need it. Julianna, you blowing minds right now. You are, because how are you going to go, well, I play a gay person on TV, and so I'm going to speak for all gay people, even though I play one on TV. What? They're going to make me quit my own show. This lady, golly, man.
With you, because I want to say to them, you fucking idiots.
Oh, so we're idiots now. Them toenails must taste real good. She must not have them painted, because that toxic taste. Man. She must have put some hot sauce on them feet, because she keep her foot all up in her mouth. Golly.
You don't exist. Like, you're even lower than the Jews. A, you're Black, and B, you're gay. And you're turning your back against the people who support you?
Hang on, wait a minute. Has she ever heard? Nah, she has. Wait. What's the name of it again? What is it called? Yeah. Has she ever heard of Westboro Baptist Church? Hell, has she heard of Ron DeSantis? Like what? Now, let me share with you guys something. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's a little bit it's a little heartbreaking, but I need to share this. First of all, saying that Israel is this bastion of rights for gay people, for LGBTQ people. If that were the case, then we'd be able to get married in Israel, but we can't because it's not legal. But also, let me show you this from Haaretz, which is an Israeli newspaper. This is titled, Israel called this Palestinian fair game because he's gay. So, Zohir explains how the Shin Bet blackmailed him, threatening to expose his sexual identity and forced him to report on the movements of armed Palestinians who were later assassinated by Israeli forces. His confession was released on Monday by Lions Den activists from Nablus, who claimed they executed him for cooperating with Israel. They didn't execute him for cooperating executed him for being gay. It was because he betrayed the Palestinian people. And what did they do? They blackmailed him. Blackmailing and extorting innocent members of the LGBTQ community is common practice of the Israeli security services. They don't restrict it to LGBTQ members, of course, and use it on anyone whose vulnerability can be exploited to force them to do things against their conscience and put their lives at risk, including sick people who depend on Israel for permits to get treatment abroad and people in economic difficulty. That is Israel. They do that. And that's from Haaretz. That's not some pro-Palestinian newspaper. Blackmailing LGBTQ Palestinians to speak out and go against Palestinian resistance and liberation. Now, to people who say, well, they would murder you for being Palestinian, did you know there are gay people in Palestine? Let me share something with you. You guys ever heard of Queering the Map? This is a site where queer people all over the world can actually post their thoughts out there anonymously. Let me share with you guys. Here's Queering the Map. Oh, I might have to. Oh, man. I might have to redo this again because it just. Uh-oh. It's okay. It's all good. I should have had this uploaded. But anyway, so this is Queering the Map, and I don't know why it places. I'm not even in I'm not even in Canada. All right, so we're going to go to Gaza. Here's North Africa. All right, so let's zoom in. Here's Gaza, right? All right, so I'm going a little bit too far out. Okay. All right, so here's the Gaza Strip, right? Let's go to North Gaza first. Make sure that okay. So you guys can see. Here's first one. This person says, I don't know how long I will live, so I just want this to be my memory here before I die. I'm not going to leave my home, come what may. My biggest regret is not kissing this one guy. He died 2 weeks back. We had told how much we liked each other, and I was too shy to kiss him last time. He died in the bombing. I think a big part of me died too, and soon I will be dead. To Eunice, I will kiss you in heaven. These are Palestinians, and they were killed by Israel. Here's another one. I've always imagined you and me sitting out in the sun, hand in hand, free at last. We spoke of all the places we would go if we could, yet you are gone now. If I had known that bombs raining down on us would take you from me, I would have gladly told the world how I adored you more than anything. I'm sorry I was a coward. Another one. The place where you died, even though we were only pen pals, I love you to my core. 5 years of the best friendship. Ahmad died of the airstrike. You died of heartbreak, Khalid. I love you. I love the way you came out to me. I came out to you. How you introduced Ahmad as your boyfriend. I wanted to share your hurts with me, but we're seas apart. I'll free Palestine for your eyes. I hope you rest well in heaven. Kiss Ahmad all you want and be very happy in this life or another. I'll follow you and we can unite. I love you to Icarus and beyond. This one says, I know I was different from a young age. I knew I liked boys early on, but society demands it remain hidden. I live elsewhere now, and I'm still trying to connect with the dots. I wish things weren't this complicated. I don't want to hurt my family, but I cannot live a lie. But that's many people in the United States that are expressing that, right? It says, this next one says, a place where I kissed my first crush, I guess, crush. Being gay in Gaza is hard, but somehow it was fun. I made out with a lot of boys in my neighborhood. I thought everyone is gay to some level. Here was our first date. We sat, talked about our childhood, queer culture, food, and bagpipes. The first boy I ever kissed here, his cousin found out and tried to stab me. I haven't been back since. So guess what? Yes. Guess what? It happens here. Love to all the queer Palestinians. It says, free Palestine. Sincerely, a gay Jew. This one says, this is first I'll tell you, it was 2021, last major Israeli bombardment in Gaza. You never knew you were the reason that I first listened to my favorite bands or watched Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Everything comes back to you. Now you are a student abroad, and Israeli occupation bombs may take everyone and everything you ever loved away. Your mom, your home, your memories. I am so sorry the world failed you, that your mom, your sister, best friends, everything is lost in this genocide. Let's go down to the South. Let's go to southern Gaza. It says, I am from Rafah and she's from Deir al-Bala. She got married later and I left Gaza Strip. To this day, I think of you. To this day, I wish you'd be back and sleep with you in the same bed. I want to call you for my name again. I wish to be with you again in my heart. It says, please know, despite what the media says, there are gay Palestinians. We are here. We are queer. Free Palestine. I was here. I was here. I was queer. Free Palestine. So, to anybody that says that there aren't queer Palestinians, that they're there, that they exist, and no doubt, there's a lot of people that their family members probably know. But we're not going to sit here. What we're not going to do is we're not going to sit here and say, oh, well, all Palestinians are going to massacre or kill anybody that's queer. And what we're not going to do is we're not going to paint all of them with a broad brush. And when you lay out collective punishment against all Palestinians, you're also murdering queer Palestinians too. Those voices that I just read from, if you're okay with the bombing of the hospitals, the mosques, the refugee camps, the schools, you're also killing gay Palestinians. How much you want to bet some of those freedom fighters are also gay? But, you know, and people will go, but even though if they're gay, well, you know, they don't like gays in Palestine. Let's say there's a good chunk of Palestinians that aren't LGBTQ friendly. Okay. Kind of hard to grow an understanding of that aspect when you're living in an open air concentration camp. First of all. Second of all, it's kind of hard to do when you're constantly being bombed. And here some people go, well, they should have did what they did to Israel. Their land shouldn't have been occupied in the first place. We're literally at the point where there is more death and more destruction of the Palestinian people than the original Nakba that happened in 1948. I said that I was going to answer this lady's question on Twitter because she said something to the effect of, well, if you're gay, then Palestinians would do all this horrible stuff to you. And I told her that I would, or them, I should say, that I was going to address their comment on there too. Let me see. All right. So let me share this. This person said, it's not about that. She's just finding it odd that you support people who hate you. And wish to see you in prison for being who you are. I think that's normal. I would never support anyone who hates me, but go off. You clutch your purse when people like me are around you, don't you? Because if you're going to generalize an entire people, what do you say about people that look like me? You're going to paint people with a broad brush. What do you think about people like myself? Do you think that automatically I'm going to steal something from you? Do you follow me around in the stores? Because I guess, well, that's just how all Black people are. See how that goes? You start to generalize. What about the people who generalize Jewish people? You don't like it when they generalize them. And it's not right. You should not generalize Jewish people. But the same token, you should not generalize all Arabs, all Black people, all Latinos, all Asian people. You should not generalize all white people. But yet here you are, generalizing Palestinians. It's kind of bigoted, don't you think? I hope you're watching. I don't think you are, but I hope you are, Jen. Now, there was another thing that Julianna Margulies said that I was done. When I saw this, I was just like, what in the hell? So, oh Lord. You guys are going to laugh. It's cringe. All right. So, this is what she said as well. She said, Julianna Margulies says that Black and LGBTQ supporters of Palestine are brainwashed to hate Jews. She said, I am the first person to march for Black Lives Matter. When that happened to George Floyd, I put a black screen on my Instagram like I ran to support my Black brothers and sisters. Oh my gosh. Oh, she ran. She put up her phone and she put a black screen on her Instagram to support us. Oh my gosh. Isn't that wonderful, y'all? Oh, clap it up for Julianna. Clap it up for her because she took time out of her busy schedule out of filming The Good Wife in the morning show to put up a black screen on her Instagram to show that she supports us. Power to the people, right? Next, what are you going to do, Miss Julianna? You're going to kneel on Kente cloth on the House floor? In the rotunda? Or is that what you're going to do? Are you going to paint Black Lives Matter in your driveway? Is that what you're going to do, Julianna? You're going to keep hot sauce in your pocketbook, Julianna? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to get cornrows, Julianna? You're going to get box braids? To show your support? What else are you going to do, Julianna? You're going to say that you donated to United Negro College Fund? Is that what you're about? Put a Malcolm X or MLK quote in February during Black History Month? Is that what you're going to do? Julian? Are you going to go even harder on June 19th and say Happy Juneteenth to everybody? You're going to celebrate Kwanzaa this month and say your solidarity with us? Oh my God. I put a black box on my Instagram. I put a black box on my Instagram. On my Instagram. Oh my goodness. And we're supposed to, oh my God. She put a black box on it and she rushed. She continues, when LGBTQ people are being attacked, I run. I made a commercial for same-sex marriages with my husband in 2012. Oh my goodness. You made a commercial? You made a commercial, Julianna? She said, like, I am the first person to jump when something is wrong, I think, as most Jews are, because we have been persecuted from the beginning of time, not just World War II, but literally from the beginning of time. We first lived in Israel, way before anybody else. The Canaanites would like a word. The Hittites would like a word. The Jebusites would like a word. Oh my gosh. There was nobody there before us. Even though Abraham was living in the city of Ur, which is actually in modern day Iraq, and he migrated there. Even God said in the Torah, in the Hebrew scriptures, that you are once people of another land. What? Wait. What happened with those 40 years when they left Egypt and they migrated for 40 years until they found the promised land? And then Joseph and the 10 spies, oh, trust me, I know all this. Joseph and the 10 spies went and said, oh, the land is fertile, and now we have to go in and commit war and move the people who are in that land out so that we can have it. Wasn't that in the Torah? So you weren't the original people of the land. You never were. But this is what happens when you actually study the scriptures. Because I did for 20 years. 20 years. It's literally in the Bible, baby. The Israelites were never the original people of that land. If you want to go there, then fine. But if you want to go there, okay. But you were never the original people of that land either. Oh, maybe you should pick up the book. And yes, were you persecuted in World War II? Absolutely. And that was wrong. But it's equally as wrong to persecute the Palestinians because somebody decided to give you land that didn't belong to them. That's the point. And that's what we're talking about. Now, here's an update. Because Julianna done put her foot in her mouth. And then she realized by the time it was too late. It was too late, y'all. Let's share this as well before I get to what I wanted to. So it says, glad more people are finding out about how disgusting Julianna Margulies is. Here's another video from 3 weeks ago where she talks about how unsafe the pro-Palestinian movement makes her feel as a rich white American woman in New York. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Let's take a look.
Absolutely. The rhetoric is so strong and horrific that I live where I live is very close to NYU, and I walk my dog, and I'm always aware. I'm wary. I worry and I'm worry. I also know, so I know if I see someone tearing down a poster of one of the hostages, I won't even think. I'll just go right up and do something, and then I don't know. Are they going to slit my throat? I don't know.
No, they won't. No, they won't. Here's where she's doing again. She's generalizing and making us out, by us, I mean those of us who are of color, black and brown, to be savages because we don't agree with genocide. It's funny how the people who are accused of being savages are the ones that disagree with genocide. Because we disagree with genocide, oh my God, we have to be violent savages.
No, but I'm not going to be afraid. Absolutely.
Also, by the way, that's very Karen energy. Deeply Karen energy. Anyway, let me share. Hold on, sorry. All right, so here comes the apology. Yep, she apologized. Do I believe it? No. But just because I'm also in this journalist space, I want to make sure I cover this. It says Julianna Margulies apologizes for her comments accusing Black and queer people of being anti-Semitic for their support of Palestine. Quote, I'm horrified by the fact that statements I made on a recent podcast offended the Black and LGBTQIA plus communities I truly love and respect. By the way, she never said she apologized for what she said. She said she's horrified by the fact that the statements I made on recent podcasts offended Black and LGBTQIA plus communities I truly love and respect. I want to be 100% clear. Racism, homophobia, sexism, or any prejudice against anyone's personal beliefs or identity are abhorrent to me, full stop. Unless they're Palestinian, according to Julianna Margulies, because apparently she likes to generalize a whole group of people based on the actions of a few. You got to read deeply into what people say. All right. It says, throughout my career, I have worked tirelessly to combat hate of all kinds and anti-Semitism to speak out against terrorist groups like Hamas, even though, never mind, and forge a united front against discrimination. I do not intend for my words to sow further division, for which I am sincerely apologetic. But you notice she never apologized for what she said. She just apologized that we got offended. So she's not sorry for what she said. Y'all see it now? Y'all see it? Yeah. See, this is why when it comes to liberals, blue MAGA, red MAGA, one and the same. You don't go the direction they want, then they cast you aside. It's like either go with what we want or you're done. Basically how it is. Now, one of the things I also wanted to share was her absolutely, because of her horrific take, she got clowned. She got clowned, man. Hang on. Let me do this. Okay. Here is some of the comments that are also in the in under this, and she gets destroyed. Destroyed. Oh my god. Because we know this crap when we sees it. We know liberal racism when we see it. This person says, quote, I put a black screen on my Instagram, end quote. Do celebrities have any self-awareness at all? No. This person says, well, that's that then. This rich white woman put a black screen on Instagram, so I must support genocide now. So persecuted that they were given a country on someone else's land. Interesting. Nadine says, what the fuck? She put a black screen on Instagram to show support for black people. She's so out of touch, it's hilarious. Keep stepping in it. Says literally doing the same. It says,
hey, I have a message for Black Americans posting a Palestinian flag on social media. What the hell, man? You know, Jews have been nothing but good to you, and this is how you repay us, by calling for a ceasefire in a seemingly unrelated country 6,000 miles away. Where is the loyalty? During the civil rights movement, my grandfather's his best friend marched for your civil rights. I posted a black square. I didn't have to. I could have posted some Eggs Benedict. I had that very day, but I didn't because I'm a good friend. Hey, I have a message for Black Americans posting.
Look at this. I put a black screen on Instagram. Look at that. Oh gosh. Oh my god. She put a black screen on her Instagram. Look at us. Look at us. That'd be me and Noah Krichovic standing next to each other like, what? Look, said no way she said when that happened to George Floyd, I put a black screen on my Instagram. I ran to support my black brothers and sisters. Look, y'all. Oh man. Look, this is how I know this is how me and Nick are going to be if we were on stream together. Hold on. This was hilarious. I hate when Facebook, Twitter does this. Why in the world? It was so funny. Oh well. That's how we feel about what Julianna Margulies said. I put a black screen on my Instagram.
Wow.
That's how we feel. That's how we feel when she said she put a black screen on her Instagram. Y'all can hear that one practically. So, that's the thing. We're looking at her like this. Like, what the hell? You dare? Anywho. So, yes. That's what is going on with her. This stream went way further than what I wanted it to go, but anyway. Julianna, wake up. Now, gosh, I know y'all got some things to say in the chat. There's over 400 chats. Oh my goodness, y'all got a lot to say. Just like I did. Yo, let me do this first, y'all, because look, let me do this first. If y'all haven't, then can you please like the stream? Thank you so much to everybody who is a patron on Patreon and Coffee, as well as people who donate to my PayPal. Thank you so very much to all of you for that as well. And also, I'm also doing a fundraiser for mutual aid. You guys can go to Orlando RBN, $ Orlando RBN for that. We're giving away grocery gift cards, toiletries, and warm clothes to our homeless neighbors. So thank you so very much. That's also, I'll put that in the link in the chat. And also, in addition to that, if you guys have not subscribed, I haven't told people to subscribe in a while, but thank you so very much. And yes, I am demonetized. So if you guys have not, then you guys can support me either through Patreon or PayPal. So also, just to let you guys know, just to share, make sure this is, get off that. Let me share with you guys the membership tiers just so that you guys are aware. Oh, man, this was a stream. So you have JB members, Solidarity, Comrades, Jaybefaunters, Super Jaybefaunters, Super Duper Jaybefaunters, and Mega Jaybefaunters. So if you guys would like to, you guys can also become members. And without you guys, I would not be able to do this work. So thank you so very much to all. Now, and plus, I'm going to end the stream on a funny note because this was just, I need to do it. But let me share. Good Lord. Amanda says, when Julianna Margulies says, you fucking idiots are really find her quite god awful, she sounds like a Klan wife. Oh my God. Kurt's boss says she's projecting a lot with you effing idiot thing. Yep. Oh my gosh. Jeremiah says she carries the hot sauce, propaganda in her bag. Dwayne says, as a fake lesbian, I will condemn black gay. Hold on, let's go back earlier. Hold on. Mouse SF said, my friend Bubbles shot to death in the street in San Francisco by a stranger for being trans. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Colin says, be easy. Why do you expect oh. So you're talking about something else. Dwayne says, I'm black and Jewish. We have to empathize with the oppressed. Zionists are monsters. Yahtzees. Java the Cat says, I can't believe that she has the nerve to say a lesbian because she plays one on right? Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you, Colin. Talk to a Black trans person in this country and see how they are treated. Absolutely. People don't even want to talk about it, man. B.S. Adams says, I thought The Good Wife was a show about Mormon wives. Yeah, I think it's a political show. Victor Devan says, as someone who played a doctor, I have to say you have cancer. Oh my gosh. Namor7 says the level of secondhand embarrassment she's generating is remarkable. Absolutely. Like, we're supposed to look at you like you're some magnanimous person. Rondo says, is she an actual lesbian or does she just play one on TV? She just plays one on TV. Be easy, that dude says kidnapping and hostage taking is not immigrating. Absolutely. Javier says pink washing too. What a clown. Yes. Grape Teen says Israelis have the right to leave or go wherever the hell they want to go, but Palestinians are trapped. Absolutely. You can't be a Palestinian and just leave. You literally have to ask the Israeli government. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say no. Jeez Louise. Ilhanar says, I'm serious. Once you become wealthy, you lose your humanity. Just look at the state of the world. It's crazy. All right. So let me do this. I'm going to head out because I got to get going. Plus, I haven't eaten. Wait, have I eaten? No. So I got to eat. I had this apple that's sitting here just looking at me in the eyes. But before I go, I want to share this video. But we're going to do it on the closeout. So thank you so very much. And also, just to let everybody know, when it comes to fighting for people who are oppressed, keep fighting. Keep speaking out. Do not let somebody use liberation, whether it's liberation for disabled people, queer people, Black people, brown people. Never allow them to use that for justification for genocide or oppression. Shut it down, because that is not right. When you have human rights groups all over the world speaking about what Palestine is going through, what the Israeli government is doing to them, you have to speak out about it. And even the UN calls it an apartheid state. They call it an illegal occupation because that's what it is. And this has nothing to do with Jewish people, but everything to do with illegal occupation. And I stand with the Jewish people who speak out against this. So that's where I stand. So, like I always say, water your plants, water yourselves, leave the world better than you found it. Smoke them if you got them, drink them if you got them. If you ain't got them, then watch something funny. Watch something hilarious. Because joy is revolutionary. And stand with the oppressed, not with the oppressor. And wrong is wrong, even if a marginalized group is doing something wrong. Even if members of a marginalized group is doing something wrong, then you have to call it out. Just like I will call out Uganda for what it's doing against LGBTQ people, despite them being Black and African and subject to colonialism what they're doing against people who are in my community as LGBTQ is wrong. But I'm not going to blanket all Ugandans like that. See how you can criticize the government and not be considered racist? See, you can do that. Anywho, take care, everyone. And yeah, mwah, forehead kisses to every single one of you. And deuces, Bruces. Bye.
Racism more, and it's coming towards us white people. Us white people are being silenced or being hushed because of bad things that have happened to other communities.
Are you sick and tired of not getting your way whenever you want? Do people have the nerve to treat you like a normal member of society? Have you been accused of saying something racist and don't know how to shift focus? Introducing Entitled White Women's Tears, the revolutionary new solution that'll keep you looking your victimist.
I used to listen to women of colour speak in general terms about how racism affects them and amend my behaviour accordingly. I apologise for anything that I've done that was ignorant, and I'll be more mindful from now on. Thanks to Entitled White Women's Tears, I'm now perfectly comfortable explaining to them how they should be approaching their own activism and taking it as a personal attack when they call me out. Seriously, maybe you'd have more people on your side if you weren't so mean.
Did you just make Cindy cry?
But how is it about her? It's about me.
On the best side.
I used to exhibit socially acceptable behaviour. Thanks to White Women's Tears, I now see my time as more valuable than everyone else's. So I cut in line and abuse service staff whenever I want, even when I've made the mistake. I'm calling the police. You have lost me as a customer. Entitled White Women's Tears includes some of our most advanced privileged properties, combined with our best princess syndrome, so you can weaponize your crying wherever you want, whenever you want. Our specially formulated Entitled White Women's Tears isn't sourced from nasty places like grief, oppression, pain, or righteous anger. Rest assured, we bottle our Entitled White Women's Tears at the purest source. Fear of a power dynamic that has rendered you prone to legitimate criticism. Order your Entitled White Women's Tears now and receive a free sample of our Entitled line for men. I deserve this for some reason. The only drink that promotes a belief in your inherent right to power. Entitled White Women's Tears. It's victimhood Viagra by women for women. Don't let someone make you accountable for your bad behavior ever again.